fuck you doing?
Remember that name? Good Pizza with 3 Z's, baby. 3 Z's.
What's up, familia? Welcome back to the Good Pizza Podcast. I appreciate y'all coming back. It's good to be back, man. We just came back from vacation. I'm fresh off the boat from Sicily, plane, whatever you want to call it. Good Pizza Podcast. We're all about the beautiful cannabis plant, where it's taken us on our journeys, how our paths intertwine, and where do we go from here. Today we have a very special guest. This gentleman to the right of me is straight out of the Bay Area, San Francisco to be exact. His family was in the hospitality business, and he started his professional business career at a very young age. He got his medical card at 16 and it was off to the races, folks. He later went on to attend business school at Boston University. After college, he actually opened up and operated one of California's first licensed medical cannabis collectives, Trichome Healing Caregivers in Van Nuys, California. He rocked THC dispensary for about a decade and a half before transitioning into commercial cannabis production. Then it was off to find the best genetics around the globe. His travels on that quest brought him to places like India, Thailand, Nepal, Morocco, Spain, Canada, and Amsterdam, where he built very solid relationships with cannabis breeders and such. Later, he went on to co-founding one of the largest indoor facilities in Oregon called Pistol Point Cannabis. In 2019, this gentleman was appointed as the official cannabis advisor for the Elevated Estate, which works to bring local, regional, and international cannabis industries to Thailand's emerging cannabis market. In 2023, he opened up Cookies Bangkok with Burner and a group of great Thailand partners. In 2020, he was appointed VP of Business Development for Natura Life Science in Sacramento. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an absolute powerhouse. If you don't know, you will know. Making a full circle back into the California cannabis industry. Now, let me shut up and let him tell his story. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my friend, Josh Schmidt from Natura. What's up, brother?
Man? How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Man, absolutely,
Good.
Man. I was hoping I didn't fuck that up, man.
No, you know,
a lot of accolades, my friend.
I didn't, yeah. Yeah, we were, most of the years were pretty spot on, and I think the dispensary was like, you know, it was like 7 years, 6 years, but
okay.
I was there.
Okay.
I was there. It was long. It felt like 20
It felt
years.
like 20.
They say dog years and cannabis years. I feel like it's like 10 to 1.
Right, for
so
sure.
I'm old.
Man.
I'm a dinosaur.
For sure. Yeah, me too, bro. Me
Yeah.
too. I just joined the 40 Club myself, so.
Congrats.
All good. Thanks, bro.
Welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank
Welcome.
you, man. It feels good to be here, man. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to dive into your story. I've heard your story a couple times on a couple podcasts. Before we dive into the cannabis, I always love to talk about the story behind the story, man. What was young Josh like, man? What was the come up like? What was life as a shorty?
Young Josh I'm from a little town called Hillsborough,
okay.
Which is south of San Francisco, right near the San Francisco airport.
Nice.
My parents both worked all day. My dad would go every morning at like 6:30. Every day, come back at 11, 12 every night, and my mom would go, you know, back and forth in the day and night because they would operated a restaurant.
Sure.
2, 3 sometimes, so it was the front of the house, the back of the house. So I saw very little of them. I had live-in babysitters,
okay.
kind of staying with us and watching after us. So I had a lot of time on my hands without parents, which led me to like experiment. And I never was really so curious with alcohol because I grew up with people drinking all the time. I saw it was also during those, like, I'm a 1980 baby, so sure. Like same. A lot of like AIDS, a lot of cocaine, a lot of like that, like crazy people getting, you know, totally fucked up and pissing themselves in the bar. It wasn't. Yeah. And and with smoking cigarettes, you know, I think I tried cannabis, like smoking a joint before cigarettes, and my mom used to smoke cigarettes, and we used to my sister and I used to like steal her cigarettes and crack them in half and break them. Yep. Or we'd find them in the car and we'd break them because we hated her smoking.
Sure.
So 12, I started experimenting with cannabis. In my house, it was crazy because my dad, very happy-go-lucky guy, never taken a sip of, never drank a full drink. Yeah. Never smoked a cigarette. Oh, never smoked weed.
Okay.
Never done anything. But he's an amazing guy. So it was a big thing in my house for me to kind of start doing this. I was very secretive, but fell in love like literally at the first puff.
So 12.
Yeah, the 12. The whole culture before my bar mitzvah. In my family, it was a big thing when I was 13. You know, I loved music, and I loved, at that time, I started with rap, and then it got into, like, heavy metal. At that time, I think it was mostly, like, heavy metal and rock. My bar mitzvah theme in 93 was, like, Ozzy Osbourne table, Metallica table,
I was saying, I know Metallica was in there, bro.
Yeah,
Come on now.
All that. So
let's go.
I was really into all that. Music was a huge part of my upbringing, though. My mom loved music. My dad would play guitar growing up and liked music, loved music as well. So they kind of go hand in hand. Music, man. You know, I remember smelling the first whiff of a joint in, like, I think 91 when I was 11 in Israel. I was in Israel visiting my grandma, and I smelled someone smoking a joint in the park, and I just remember that skunky, like, pungent smell that I'd never smelled before.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then I was, from that moment on, a little interested, and then fell in love with it all. You know, the counterculture movies like Cheech and Chong, and traveling to Holland, you know, and anything I could do with weed. I would cut school or go out of school, get high, and go read High Times magazine, and just study High Times magazine and read about everything in there and all the weed world from the UK, and, you know, the differences in the US market and the UK market.
Yeah, bro.
Because I traveled. I love traveling. So.
You traveled at a young age, it sounds like.
My grandma, my father's from Israel.
Okay.
My grandma lived in Israel, and some cousins, and then my dad's sister lived in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So growing up, it was
Irish as well.
No,
Irish
just
Jewish?
She married a Northern Irish Jew.
Gotcha.
Very few of those.
Okay.
He found her in Israel.
Okay.
But you know, having family in Belfast and in Israel at one point in my life, like the two most dangerous. It was the two most dangerous places in the world to travel to. But that's where I traveled to at that time.
Wow.
And
what was going on in Belfast? Just curious.
Then
during that time, yeah.
My uncle, my aunt's husband, was the chief prosecutor for the Queen of England, so the British, against the IRA.
Oh, yes, I feel that's what you're going to say.
And it was a crazy time. So he had security guards. His house was had security guards, bulletproof windows in the car, because, you know, he had put a lot of these guys in jail over the years, that he wore the wig and everything.
Oh, wow.
He's still alive. I think he just turned 95.
God bless.
God bless him. Still in Belfast.
Shit,
but
man.
you know, I heard bombs go off one time in a suburb of Belfast called Bangor, near my family's house.
Yeah.
In Israel, all my trips to Israel, I'd never heard a bomb go off or a gunshot or anything like that. It's very safe.
Yeah.
Once you're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
Yeah, the IRA don't play.
No,
I figured that's where you were going with that.
Now, today, Belfast, amazing.
Nice.
It was amazing then, but now it's just a totally modern, fun city. A lot of people are traveling to Belfast.
Yeah.
They live between Belfast and the summer in Israel. They go to Israel. My cousins.
Bro. So
but they all grew up in there in London. Yeah, they're all in London now. So I have family in the UK, in the London, all over mostly in London and the suburbs, Belfast, and Israel, and used to travel a lot to them. My dad, with the restaurants, used to trade, and my dad and mom used to trade British Airways their checks, so the bills for airplane tickets. So they would rack up, call it like a $2,000, $3,000 bill, eating with executives. These are corporate people.
Yeah.
And then we would have like a $3,000 credit with British Airways, and it would always be standby business class.
Yeah, whatever.
So we were little kids, and we, my dad liked to barter, food for travel, and they always took us.
Awesome.
My parents always took us on vacation, as if they could. Always took my sister and I. So I always try and take my kids as much as possible too, because it's the best.
It's great for that
It leads to the love of travel.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and the appreciation of people and respect of different cultures.
There it is.
And not thinking that you're the way you live in your ecosystem is the only way and the right way. It might not be, right?
In your American bubble,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great, bro.
Open-mindedness.
Yeah, man. I just took my kids to Sicily, bro. It totally opened their mind to different cultures, different ways of life, and I'm with you, bro. Take them as much as you can. For sure. I love that. Hell yeah.
Yeah. My kids are in Asia right now for the summer.
I know. I've been seeing your posts.
My son is autistic. My 8-year-old, he's turning 9 next week.
Okay.
And Asia was the toughest with the mask laws.
Sure.
And he won't wear a mask, or he still won't wear a mask. So he was unable to travel to Asia to see family, to go for over 2 years. So he was like, this was his first trip.
Oh, beautiful.
He can withstand the long trip, and
Cool.
he thrives in Thailand.
He thrives in Thailand.
Yeah, the weather, the swimming. It's summertime. He's not in school.
He's busy.
So, yeah,
he's not busy.
But so they're over there the whole summer, 2 months.
That's cool.
So it's nice.
Nice break for Papa too.
It is. I'm doing getting a lot of work done.
Yeah, I see.
Traveling a lot too, just meeting a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
Just having a good time, but like doing a lot of things that are tougher when I have the family here.
Exactly.
Every day.
I was sitting here wondering, like, how does he do it, man? His wife must be really cool. And I'm sure she is.
She is.
But man,
it's tough.
Your kids are in Thailand for the summer. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why right now it's
I got it.
The tour.
Yeah, the tour. That's beautiful, man. It's beautiful you're able to do that for your family, and your wife's from Thailand, right?
My wife's from Thailand.
Nice, man.
I met her on my first day ever in Thailand, on my first trip ever.
Shout out to wifey, man.
Shout out to wifey.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, man.
She's a rock in the family. She's so amazing at home. I eat so poorly without her.
Yeah, right.
My laundry stacks up so much higher without her.
Yeah, bro.
The energy in the house is so much, cold, not so warm and fuzzy.
Sure.
She does a lot. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Where do you guys live? In California?
El Dorado Hills.
Oh, nice, dude.
We were in
great area.
It's amazing. I brought her when we came from Thailand. The first year we went to Orville, straight to Orville. I don't know if you're familiar with Orville, but straight to Orville. So for her, she's from like a farming family.
So that was right up her alley. Or no?
It was up her alley, the farming and whatnot. We had some situations arise. Her first year ever on her birthday. I was on First Smoke of the Day, and I didn't get to tell this story. And you got to hear this one. So, our first year ever in California, coming back from Thailand, we got a property in Orville, 40 acres on the top of a hill.
Wow. And
at that time, you couldn't grow 40 acres. We grew 99 plants.
Yeah.
Very big plants, and we knew how to do it. I had been doing it prior, and I had a great group of friends that I grew up with and others that we built out properties really well. All medical, 16 patients, 6 plants per patient.
Yeah.
But how big can you make the plant?
Get those 50 gallons, boy.
No. We did about 400 gallons, 500 gallons. Tui, who cultivates at Natura right now, he was running the hill. He had a 22-pounder. One plant. 22 pounds. We were trees. Yeah, we were pushing it hard. But so long story short, it was Labor Day. My wife's birthday is on the 6th of December.
Okay.
I think it was September. I'm sorry, her birthday is the 7th of December. Or September.
Okay.
It was the 7th or 8th on her birthday. We had been in the Bay Area for dinner with my family. And we came back, and we had a little house, 800, 900 square feet on the top of a hill. Everything looked good when we pulled up. Just the two of us and a dog, no children yet. We pulled up to the house. I opened the door. I walked outside. I found a backpack on the outside that wasn't mine, and inside were like a bottle of $250 change, like quarters and stuff, bottle of vodka, my passport, my wife's passport. And I was like, what the heck? It was crazy. And then I said, let me go around the front door and see what's going on. And at that time, I think it was the iPhone 1 or whatever. There was no flashlight. There was I didn't have flashlights, but I clicked the phone and I'm like using it because I opened the door. The house still looked fine, intact, but I opened the door. Everything was black inside, burned. It was a complete fire. And I couldn't see very well because all the windows were kind of frosted black from the fire. I took my phone and my light to try and see what was going on. I called 911 right away. Said there's a fire up in my house. I was doing everything legal. Call 911. Fire in my house. Please send someone up to the house. I don't know who would do this to me. I have no idea why it happened. Please send someone up.
Yeah.
So then we go inside, and about 30 minutes later, I keep going inside looking around because my wife said she had some jewelry also inside next to the bed. And we had a little dog, little puppies or two of them that used to jump on the pillow and jump up on the bed. So we'd put a big pillow next to the bed to kind of we didn't have the stairs yet. So I thought that it was that. And I went to the dresser to pull something out, and something heavy was right there. And it was literally a dead guy, like face down on top of the dresser like that, with a lighter in his hand. later I found out, you know, like he was I didn't know the guy.
Yeah.
He was the boyfriend of the woman that lost the house to the bank, that we bought the house from the bank, you know.
Yeah.
But she loved that property and it was her life, and she convinced this guy, or he was in love with her, that he wanted to burn it down for her and to show his love. This is what she told the police. She didn't get arrested or anything like that.
Oh my God.
But this guy, some transient guy, had his ID in his pocket and everything. I never saw him in my life. But the police had kind of a record of him in the streets.
Sure.
He was dead in our house.
Damn,
he had kind of built a fire in the house to burn it down, but then he got greedy and kind of, this is what they think, he went back in to kind of steal more things in the bedroom, perhaps.
Yeah.
And the small size of the house, the gasoline, and the fire he created, it created some kind of a flash fire, that when a flash fire, like poof, happens, it takes all the oxygen out of the air, and there was so little oxygen in the house that he like probably ran out of air in his lungs and just died right there. And also because there was so little oxygen, the fire didn't burn the whole house down, and it just put itself out. Like small. So that was my wife's birthday on the first year ever from Thailand.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America. Welcome to Orville. Welcome to California. Everyone knew us after that. You know, we obviously had CSI, Butte County Sheriffs.
Oh yeah.
The coroner. There were 100 of them. They couldn't believe that cannabis had nothing to do with it.
Right.
This guy wasn't, you know, and all these plants are still, they were walking the whole line of the property to see, you know, he was camping out, I guess. But, so she's been through a lot, you know, like I did before, you know, I had been in a lot of situations in LA, you know, dispensaries, no bank account, all that stuff. We had, you know, invasions and whatnot, but this was a whole nother level. But we were also, I felt like, you know, from that point on, after the good relationship with the law enforcement, how professional they were, they never came back.
Oh, no shit.
They never came back one time. Before that, every year, they always came every year. I'm used to it. Like my first year, I grew in like 2006 in the hills of Butte County, my first time ever, 72 plants. They were there almost like 3 times, the sheriffs, because so few people were growing, right?
Sure.
Now, if you know Orville, it's everywhere, right? And it's not medical anymore. It's all trap. It's just trap, you know? So it's a lot of soldiers. Shout out to Orville. Shout out to everyone making ends meet.
Wow, bro. That was heavy.
Yeah.
What's up, pizza fam? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Check this out. I've been getting a lot of questions on where I can find the fire Good Pizza. Check this out. We got you covered. We're in NorCal, SoCal, Central Valley, San Diego. We got you covered on the slices. Peep the list. Go check out the shop. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. Peace, love, Good Pizza.
My wife's an awesome rock in our house. She's been through a lot. Never anything like that before.
Yeah. Not many people have been through that.
No, Thailand didn't ever go through that really. There's drug dealing before in Thailand. Now it's a whole nother world over there. Now there's weed everywhere.
Tell me a little bit about Thailand, man. What are the streets like out there? Like, you know, Bangkok's got a wild name, you know. I don't know much about it.
You know, LA, all these places, San Francisco.
Yeah.
I have a nice gold chain. You know, I'm scared walking down the street with anything, you know, anything. Thailand, I've never felt scared 1 minute in my life ever.
Oh, cool. Good vibes.
You know, amazing vibes. Obviously, I've heard of some, you know, things happening, people's purses getting stolen and whatnot, but I never feel endangered. Good people. Nice. You know, obviously a lot of tourist traps and whatnot. You got to kind of avert things like that, but. You know, reading a good travel book, everything's online now. I used to just, I was in love with Anthony Bourdain and his platform. I read his books. I watched every episode. I love food and TV. I'm from a food family. So I resonate a lot with that whole chef mentality and eating out from the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs. I respect everything, you know, and respect it all. I know everything has a place for everyone in every, you know, moment. But I like my food, like my cannabis products, diverse and, you know, changing. So I never get bored and stagnant. You know, nothing ever becomes stagnant. But Thailand, we used to, have to buy little brick bags of swag that was pressed Laotian weed that was dried in the sun and, probably sprayed with who knows what and brought over and smoking that little brick weed. And then, obviously you'd meet some people here and there that would bring little bits of Cali or just have, other
little
indoor
head stash type shit.
Exactly. But very few people share that before. In Thailand, I didn't tell anyone what I did. Very secretive.
Sure.
Smoking to myself, not really sharing too much.
No doubt.
Now,
what were
there's
the penalties?
thousands of penalties back then. Weed has always luckily been a little bit less in Thailand than call it heroin and coke and all that stuff. Because traditionally it was used a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Kratom, which is another plant. They call it kratom.
That's how you say
kratom,
it? Kratom, okay.
Kratom, kratom.
Kratom, that's what people tell me, yeah.
Yeah, kratom is from I believe Malaysia, Indonesia, but Thailand it grows a lot. It's legal now as well.
Okay.
So cannabis and kratom were illegal before, and they were kind of treated the same like herbal, right? But other things, so there was jail time. You could sometimes get out of it here and there, but there was jail time. In the rural areas, you could probably get away with a plant.
Okay.
And say you put it in your soup or stuff like that, and but the little kids would go rip all the leaves and buds off before they would think that the leaves were psychoactive.
Yeah.
So they rip all the leaves off before it even has a chance to grow buds.
Same thing as a kid.
So so it's like
Sorry for anybody's plants I murdered when I was a teenager. Didn't know.
Yeah.
But I cut you, bro. You were saying there's a freaking dispensary everywhere.
Now there's beautiful dispensaries with in nightclubs or like buildings, and there's a picnic table with jars on top of it on the street next to the fake Viagra or the Viagra and the t-shirts and because Bangkok has the fake Louis, all that. But you'll see people with cannabis. So it's not regulated well enough. Certain people have licenses or whatnot that probably shouldn't have licenses, or it's across the street from a school or something like that, where it's not really in the spirit of how it should be.
No
a new government has come in or was elected in. So there's a possibility. A lot of people have been asking me. I heard that it's the system is going to change over there and whatnot. I could just see it becoming a little bit more medical, possibly, and then kind of tightening it's not really supposed to be rec, because the one thing that people forget is that countries like Canada, Germany, Colombia, plenty more Australia, they have South Africa, Germany, medical programs in place that are blessed and respected by the UN, and they can do legal imports that are recognized by the UN and by the world from country to country. You hear about exports from Canada to certain places. You hear about exports from Colombia to places. Thailand is kind of rogue in a sense. They legalized, but they never did it with the UN hand in hand. Got a quota from the UN. Built the regulations in a way that they could start doing imports and exports immediately, because countries like Malaysia, countries like other places around them will likely have medical cannabis in the future, and they won't want to grow it, so they'll want to import it because they don't want to start that whole it's humid, it's raining, it's a lot, it's challenging that they just want to import it. I was lucky. One of the partners, Tom, introduced me to, he was the former Minister of Health from Malaysia. His name's Khairi. And we had a lunch together, and he even said Malaysia, hopefully in the future, will have medical cannabis, but we'll likely never want to grow it. We'll want to just import.
That's pretty cool,
from a neighbor or someone that does it really well. So there's a lot of opportunity. That's huge opportunity. Thailand's a huge agricultural country. Huge cannabis loving country. I mean, this country flipped like no other.
Bro, it was lights on.
Some of the people I met when I did that trade show in 2019 that I was a part of and spoke at, they have multiple dispensaries right now. There's just a great group of people I've met over the last, call it 4 or 5 years, that are highly, highly successful and still very relevant in Thailand and really are taking it to the next level. Shout out to everyone in Thailand.
Yeah, shout out to Thailand. I'm loving this movie y'all making over there.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's just such a beautiful place to have cannabis in and to eat and relax, get massages.
It's on the list, bro. Yeah, I mean, come on now.
It's the shopping, everything about it. It's beautiful. The dollar stretches.
The dollar stretch is nice. That's always fun for us.
Yeah.
How's the cost of entry to get into the cannabis space out there? Is it reasonable, cheap?
It's not so much about the cost. Thailand is not an open market for foreigners to come and do business alone.
Got you.
So part of doing business in Thailand requires finding a Thai partner.
There you go. As it should be.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Thai partners, for the most part, will always maintain a majority in the company.
Got it.
So you really have to find a really good partner that like
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And so a lot of people have gone out there, there's obviously probably little loopholes that people could do, but for the most part, that's the way businesses and real estate work in Thailand. Okay. A lot of it's to protect from foreigners coming in and exploiting the cheap real estate or whatnot. For example, agriculture. Thai rice is one of the most eaten rices in the world. Really? So their biggest concern was that a country that imports shit tons of rice and is a huge part of their agricultural export and whatnot revenue would start buying land in Thailand, growing the rice, milling it themselves, exporting it all outside of Thailand. Yeah. Thailand would see very little money. The same thing of why they're also very anti-import, cannabis import. While you have a very few people that can, respect good product and they just want to try good stuff. Yeah. There's so many good cultivators and so many good producers in Thailand. Wow. And they have that mentality. Also, Thailand was never conquered by another country. The Burmese had the British, the Laotians, the Lao had they've had the Vietnamese, they've had the Chinese as part of their government, silently. Sure. Cambodians had the French, and the French also. Cambodians had the French. Wow. Malay was British. Singapore, British. All these countries had other occupants over the years. Yeah. Thailand almost had the Japanese, but never really materialized in anything major. Wow. It's always been Thailand, Siam, Thailand, the king, whatnot. That's so they're very protective, as they should be. As they Thailand. Should be. They have a great track record. They're very proud of being Thai, and a lot of them see it as a disrespect. When money comes into Thailand, gets sold in Thailand, and leaves the country. Yeah. Nothing stays in the country. Yeah, exactly. And the hard work and the good product of the local farmers gets lost in the sauce with the more expensive imports, and then it's tougher for them to compete. Yeah. But you can see it in the shops there. You'll see like big fluffy buds that are, they're local. Yeah. But they're not like in a bad way. They're just chunky and fresh. Where everything else is sealed. Yeah. Everything else is sealed and flattened. Yeah. So you can kind of see it's kind of like a little bit out of more vac seal. Stuck together a little bit more.
Interesting. Wow, that's fucking very interesting. Damn.
But there's great product over there.
Yeah, I love to hear it. I've heard that, bro. Yeah. It's fucking mind-blowing. Well, okay, so I know I was curious about Thailand, wanted to jump ahead a little bit. Let's take it back to the first dispensary you owned. Or operated. THC. Collective. Yeah, these are collectives. Talk to me about that experience, man. Back in those days, because that's a big part of your history.
It is. I don't want to skip that. It is. We did that one year, 72 plants in Butte County. Okay. We grew it, and the sheriffs came, and they said, the sheriff said, "What are you guys gonna do with all this excess cannabis?" Because they literally came to our property one day, up in the hills east of Orville or east of Chico, in a place called. It was near Polga. It was on the way to Quincy, but it's a place called near Sandy Beach where a lot of Chico State kids, and there's like a sandy beach on the river. And I grew right above it on Fort Trees Road. And they saw us one day up there. They checked in on us. And then literally the next day we cut everything, put it in U-Hauls, drove it down to Chico and rented a house, dried it because you couldn't dry up in the hills very well. It was like wet. And so we were going to dry in the garage and in this house. The neighbors saw us loading up all these plants out of a U-Haul into the garage, called 911, called the police. They called the marijuana task force, the same marijuana sheriff's department task force that comes to us in the hills. come down to Chico.
Okay.
They're like, oh shit, you guys are you guys again? So they knew about us. They knew we're like, yeah, we explained it. We can't,
can't fucking dry.
We can't dry up there. It's taking forever. It's not comfortable to trim, So they're like, what are you guys gonna do with all this excess cannabis? And we're like, we're gonna form a collective. Everyone now is doing deliveries, collectives. We were 23 years old, very young.
Oh shit.
And I was doing it with friends that I grew up with in the Bay Area, in my Hillsborough, San Mateo County area.
Okay.
So these are people I knew since I was 11, 12, friends I had grown up with. And they were already hustling a little bit. They were the guys that really motivated this whole project. I was kind of along for the ride. They knew I loved cannabis, and I was more on I planted a lot of seeds, like literally genetics, or, had a part in buying the clones. I was a geek. I'm a genetics geek. I've been like buying seeds and popping seeds forever.
We need one of those in the crew now.
I love the whole art of breeding, and like I used to go to Holland and sit in like the seed boutique, belonged to this guy Gypsy Nirvana, and this, Sagarmatha seeds and TH seeds, and a lot of these, legacy places that, were hustlers in the seed game, and I would just fell in love with that part. So the dispensary was just basically, we had a good amount of outdoor flavors, like 20 different strains that we grew really well in organic soil, really expensive soil up in that was like 50 or 100 gallons, right? We didn't, first year we didn't know about we didn't have the money to do the big, massive holes with the tractor and whatnot.
A lot of dirt.
Yeah, so we still did pretty well, had a lot of flavors, got some additional indoor, and opened a collective, found a strip mall on Craigslist in Van Nuys. At that time, there were a couple in Hollywood, West Hollywood, and LA. One had just gotten raided in West Hollywood as well. There was something called the Yellow House on La Brea. There was the pharmacy had just opened in West Hollywood. Jason Beck and Dina and them opened Alternative Herbal Health Services, or Oz, in West Hollywood. And they had Dina also had the Sunset Shop, they used to call it. We opened our store at the same time, right? We were kind of the kids in the Valley. They were the kids in the West Hollywood. No Michael, the guy at the pharmacy, rest in peace, he started this place called the Pharmacy. He was an interesting guy. Omaha he went as Omaha.
I like it.
But at that time, we were the first in Van Nuys proper, and there was a guy, Calvin, who was in Studio City. No one else in the Valley.
Damn,
so people were coming to us all the way from Santa Barbara, all around the Valley. Like, if you could think about that whole 1,000 dispensaries.
What year was this?
This was 2005, I think. 2004, 2005.
Cool.
Yeah. So the process back then is you get the property. We were a collective. We couldn't get a dispensary license because there was no such thing. And we went to a lawyer and created a document, a membership policy where you were a medical patient. We verified everyone's documents. They became a member in the collective, and they had access to the medicine that the collective grew. You put yourself on the California NORML, California Normal List. A guy named Dale was running it, and literally,
that's my lawyer.
Dale, so literally,
Schaefer?
No. Dale, I think this is Dale G. Dale Schaefer. He's a normal guy too. So
no doubt.
There's two Dales. It was literally a list. You could it had Canada, it had Washington, I think it had Oregon, it had California. I think that was pretty much it at that time. Hawaii had a couple that had all of the collectives and ministries and whatnot that had cannabis, the phone number, how you get a hold of them. So like before I had opened, I even went up to Canada, used my doctor note to learn. This woman, Hillary Black, had the Vancouver Compassion Center. Cool. I wanted to see it all. I had been to Amsterdam to tons of coffee shops. I'd been to all these dispensaries and collectives. I wanted to go to Canada. I really wanted to study all of them to really make sure we offered one of the best experiences possible. And we opened a shop in West Hollywood, or a collective with childhood friends that eventually evolved. My first hire was a kid named Caden, who was 18, who's Kush Doc. He has a thing called Kush Doc, Dr. K, he goes as right now. What's up, Dr. K? He was our first employee ever.
That's fire.
And then like a lot of the other guys, are still in the space. in LA or still in the cannabis space or still around. But I had a really successful little collective there in Van Nuys, and then eventually we opened a second one in West Hollywood.
Nice.
That's still around. It's called Zen on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Very cool, man.
Zen WeHo, but it changed. We weren't Zen. We sold it or we got rid of it.
Sure.
And then changed names later. But I was in LA personally for about 4 or 5 years, and then it was a lot of cowboy shit for me.
Let's talk about some close encounters.
Yeah, a lot of there was home invasions.
Yeah, home invasions.
One home invasion. There was a dispensary invasion in West Hollywood. Gun to the back of the head, gun in the mouth, tied up like a hog. Got out of that one. Got out of the tie. Called 911. They caught the guys later. They caught the guys with everything. So 2 home invasions. DEA raid in West Hollywood, or no, sorry, in Van Nuys. I wasn't there, but the undercover they came in as undercovers, and pretended to be like a patient or whatever. And the radio, he didn't turn off his radio, and it went off in the reception. And our security guard, they looked like law enforcement, they had a gun and everything. They said, "Excuse me, sir, what was that in your, what was in your pocket?" And then, nothing. I said, "Sir, what was that in your pocket?" And the guy started saying, "Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me." And no one was even touching him. That was the code for them to basically smash the front door. They smashed the front door. At that moment in time, we had our sickest patients in there. A woman on cancer. They threw her on the ground, had her down for like 7 hours with no water. They tied everyone up, tried to get the safes cracked. We were so, respected humbly in the local community and in America. We donated to Americans for Safe Access. We were active members of Americans for Safe Access. They all called around normal and whatnot. So by the time the first safe crackers came to open up the safe, all of the protesters started running up to the van and scaring them a little bit.
Wow,
and they had to turn around because they didn't feel safe. Meanwhile, I wasn't there. I was away from at a meeting, but I was on phone with them.
Sure.
And there's a movie on Netflix. It should still be on Netflix by a comedian, Doug Benson. It's called Super High Me.
Okay.
And you'll see a segment in that. They're at the raid. They're at the raid, and he's part of the show on Netflix, and you could see them in the parking lot and whatnot. So it was documented a little.
Damn, bro.
But yeah, so craziness back then. A lot of the guys that I knew got into drugs, and sadly, I lost a lot of friends. The opiates started coming, Oxycontin and all that. I lost some great friends.
Me too, man.
Some of the best people that should be here celebrating what was going on today. That wanted to see all this.
Yeah, bro. I can relate.
Yeah. So
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but went through a lot of that, and that also led to me moving to Thailand a lot. I couldn't deal with a lot of the stress, everyday stresses.
Yeah.
And I went to Thailand and fell in love with Thailand. I met, she's my wife now, but I had I met so many great people that I eventually.
Why Thailand? Why'd you just be like, I'm going to Thailand? I gotta get the fuck out of here. Why Thailand?
People are always trying to get me to go to Asia. I told you about Israel and the UK and Europe and whatnot, but I was I went to do a school summer session in Malaga in Spain. Okay. So I love Spain also. That's how I got to go to Morocco.
Spain's dope.
So that was with Santa Barbara City College when I went there after I went to Boston University. Then I was in Santa Barbara.
Wow, that's a polar opposite.
Yeah,
brother.
And then I'd also been to Colombia a lot before Thailand because the first day, I was telling you earlier, first day ever, 18 years old, went from San Francisco to Boston University, met some amazing people, a group of these Colombian, guys that all knew each other from Miami. A lot of them went to school in Miami. They all knew each other, and they welcomed me into their as friendship, basically as family.
Yeah.
So I was going to Colombia with them when I was younger. I went to a wedding in Venezuela. I've been to Caracas, Venezuela when Hugo Chavez was still alive. But I'd spent a lot of time in Colombia. Colombia is also kind of tropical, different vibe and whatnot. Did a lot of Mexico, a lot of Jamaica. Love reggae music. Was going to Jamaica almost exclusively, right? And then, you know, there was a nonstop flight from LA. There was no more from the US to Thailand. There was a nonstop flight from LA to Bangkok. So it was an easy flight. You know, it's long, 16 hours, but it was straight shot. Boom.
Yeah, that helps.
And I went and it was December 31st, 2005.
Okay.
I arrived in Koh Samui, Thailand. You have to connect there through Bangkok. So I didn't go to the big city my first day. I connected straight to an island. And I'll never forget, it was about noon when I arrived at the hotel. They let me in the room. My friends were already there for like 3-4 days that had convinced me to go to Thailand.
Okay.
And they told me, you know, by email, because we didn't have phones that were, you know, that were really
email days.
That they were going to be in around 3 to 4 p.m. So I was in the room at noon, changed, took a shower, got, you know, my swimsuit on, walked down to the beach, and I took a stroll. And I think it took me like 15 minutes of just looking around, smelling, just people and vibe, massages on the beach, music, resorts. And you can kind of like, the beach is public in Thailand. There's no like rope that this is my hotel. You can't walk. Oh, cool. Because the king owns the beach. The royal family owns the, you know, at the ultimate day really owns all the, so you can walk like any beach pretty much anywhere.
That's awesome, man.
And I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I still remember, why did I wait so long to come here?
Yeah.
You know, why the hell did I wait so long? And a lot of it's the flight length that just, but it's not the way that the mind over matter is that how much time in your life is it? And when you get off of the plane at your final destination, you're freaking in Thailand.
Yeah.
You know, just suck it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People dream, you know, and you just have to think like that with travel.
Definitely.
You can't complain and drink more water, you know, get some liquid IVs, you know, get some, you know, maybe stay awake a little longer so you're more tired. Try to arrive in the morning so you're awake through the day and you can fall asleep on at night. Don't get a flight that arrives at 1 a.m. and you're a zombie. Arrive like a zombie and everyone's like going to sleep and you're awake. Try to do little things with travel that help you. Red eyes to New York, while they feel kind of weird, they're probably, you know, it can go both ways. Red eyes they're kind of too short from the West Coast sometimes.
No doubt.
Feel kind of like
it's rough. It sets
out,
me back a
but
day.
I don't really love flying in the day because then you lose a day.
You do, especially if you're going east.
You can always leave your bags with the hotel reception or leave a bag with a friend or family. Do stuff.
Yeah, I like how you travel, man. I'm gonna have to take a trip with you sometime, man.
Yeah,
we think similar.
I love traveling.
Yeah, same. I've traveled a lot, so I know all the tricks to long
trip.
flights and shit. Fun. Yeah, it was.
And you took
my family, my mother and my mother-in-law, or my mother-in-law. Yeah, it was dope, bro.
It's all about traveling with family. It's tough with an autistic child and whatnot. But he loves it. He thrives. Certain places, like if it's raining every day, we kind of avoid. With him, there's little things we have to do with him to make sure we can keep him busy, not just on an iPad or bored inside.
No doubt. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Just want to take a quick second to shout out my sponsors over at Grove Bags. Listen, Grove Bags are hands down the best way to store your cannabis. Forget jars, forget Mylars. Nobody does it like Grove Bags. Listen, it's a 6-layer, non-static bag. State-of-the-art technology. It's going to keep your weed fresher for longer. It keeps your cannabis between 58 and 62% humidity at all times, the optimal humidity to store cannabis. It's going to increase your shelf life, help prevent mold, weight reduction. Hands down, it's the best product out there. We don't use anything but Grove Bags at Good Pizza. And especially if your product is in stores, we all know there's some shelf life issues at the stores. This is going to keep your product lasting longer on those shelves. So when your customer goes to try it, it's going to be fresh cannabis. Listen, if you want to store your cannabis the proper way, use Grove Bags. Use promo code PIZZA with 3 Z's. That's PIZZZA. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. So, wow, man. So now you're in Thailand. You meet your wife. You come back to this side of things. When and what happens then?
That's when I came back. Sorry.
No, take that, brother. Do your thing. Shout out to Ashok, the Ganj Guru. He's smoking that Uptown Piff, that puree. This shit is 1%. This is for the people, man. That shit yielded 1%. That Uptown Piff, that Cuban Black Haze, that fucking, bro.
It's the essence.
The essence,
man. Of it, right?
The essence, man.
The sap.
I could smell 173rd and Audubon right in this jar.
See, now I never experienced that part of New York.
Tato. I hear it.
We used to go when I was 18. I had a great classmate that was from New Jersey, but he spent a lot of time in New York City, and he would take me to New York City, and they came in the little plastic things. This is 98.
Yep.
It was like 2.5 grams. It was they called it diesel. It was like a OG sour, like a really gassy, diesel.
Yep.
And you get 2.5 grams for $50.
Sounds about right.
That was kind of and we'd take it back to Boston and smoke a little crumb, in a pipe, make it stretch out.
Yep.
A lot of beasters in 98,
so many beasters, bro.
Yeah, a lot of beasters.
Fed my family as a young man off beasters and Piff. That's all I had. Like, I had beasters and Piff, bro.
Never. I don't recollect too much of the Piff smoking it. I do remember a couple times. Now I know what it was when I tried it.
Right. Now you know.
I was around Cali a little bit, so I'd have like
oh yeah, you were spoiled, brother.
Yeah, a little bit. And then also like we used to like just, I'd fly to either Amsterdam or just have people that were like had like little Dutch connects that would bring stuff from coffee shops and whatnot.
That was the ultimate hookup. Like if you had access to Amsterdam, like that was the dream as a young
because
hustler.
you can travel. If you like to travel, it's tough after COVID. Actually, a lot of the worldly hashes that used to be available are not available in Amsterdam anymore. But Amsterdam is like the epicenter of international trade.
Yeah.
If you think about the menu in a coffee shop, and it's not even legal, they're tolerated. Coffee shops can only have like 500 grams at a time. But the menu right now, if you go to Amsterdam, is like weed, and it's like Cali weed, or like they call it just weed. It's usually Dutch or Spanish or whatever. And then they have Moroccan hash, Indian hash, Nepali hash.
Wow, that's cool.
Afghan hash. Now a lot of those the Indians, they're I used to love trying all the different hashes.
Absolutely.
Even Morocco, there's so many different qualities in Morocco. And now a lot of Morocco is growing strains from the big breeders and turning it to hash and exporting it back to Europe.
Okay.
So it's not very uncommon to find, hash in Holland or in Spain that's grown in Morocco and brought back to wherever to make sure that the quality and the genetics that go in give it a certain meltiness or certain aromas and whatnot. But the game over there is definitely been around. Rotterdam is one of the biggest ports in the world. The Dutch have been, not only it's the Dutch spice trade. They used to lead the world basically in a lot of the purveying of different spices and herbs and whatnot, seeds from all over the world. They were the masters of shipping. That's they used to be in Indonesia. The Dutch were one of the earlier conquerors of other lands.
That's fucking interesting, man.
Yeah. So the Dutch are awesome. So I spent a lot of time in Holland. The woman Mila Jansen, she used to have a hotel called the Hemp Hotel.
Okay.
And I used to stay there religiously. And it was like 6 or 7 rooms.
Okay.
And she'd have like the Moroccan room, she'd have like the Afghani room, the Lebanese. I think there was a Moroccan, Afghani, Nepali, different themed rooms for different types of hash countries, and you'd have hemp.
Oh, that's so fucking cool.
Fabrics and whatnot, and she'd have a bar. Obviously, there was alcohol at the bar in the lobby of the hotel.
Okay.
But everyone would come there in the evening. All the guys that were washing hash and all the people that were, trading, and a lot of foreigners would come smoke, and it was like a meeting area, right? And she was also, I think, washing a lot of hash for people through her pollinator. She used to have like a store in Amsterdam where she sold her pollinator machines and her isolator machines.
Dry sift.
Yeah, a lot of it was that, and then they would turn to like full melt, Bubble Man, also amazing, and her like same time, different avenues, but same lane but different avenues, different parts of the world. He was Canada, North America mostly. She was more European.
Okay. Learned a lot from him.
Two amazing minds. Two Mount Rushmore type people as far as like actual for hash for sure.
For hash for
sure. Like
bro.
definitely like the the top of the top as far as like influential people to the legacy of the culture and what hash is today. But I learned a lot from all of them, and that just started a lot of my, becoming obsessive with cannabis. Just like how like hearing their stories and everyone's stories, creating my own stories.
Yep.
I bought the isolator bags, the bubble bags. I
Same.
bought the little bubble
My mom did.
the little washing machine. You know,
those are so cool, man.
I used to blast with butane open in the hills.
Shit.
I have friends have blown up places. Like I stopped that really quick.
Gosh, this is dangerous.
But I'm an extract guy though. You saw me take dabs.
Yeah.
I definitely I've always been in love with hash and extracts. It was tougher growing up because they weren't accessible. Growing up in the Bay Area, I didn't have a lot of hash.
Yeah.
Just flour. But hash, rosin, mostly like really good full melt. I could enjoy all day. It like doesn't make me tired. Flour makes me a little bit more
Flour
tired.
makes you a little tired. Yeah, I've noticed. But
Strain specific, but
a flour guy.
I like certain strains.
Dabbing's like my side gig.
Yeah, but there's always like the flour. There's definitely some like favorites.
Oh yeah.
Of flour for me. Like I'll definitely pick a couple. Like I have a good handful of strains over the years. A lot of strains have died. They got lost over the years. I can't find them anymore if I tried.
Because people didn't back shit up like they do now, man. It just wasn't either thought about or able to, or nobody had access to do it, or a spot, or spot got hit, or fill in the blank. Shit just gets lost over the years.
This is a good one too. Fidel has been doing some good rosin. A lot of
I don't think I've had any.
None of these are made at Natura. A lot of these guys are doing it on their own, but I love to support.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A lot of our rosin we're either doing it for of course we're doing it for wholesale, or for just brands.
Yeah.
Kind of themselves, but.
Damn, that smells good. What is that?
He calls it Starry, or I think it's.
Dude,
Starry.
that's got a really cool nose.
So like, with a little lemon lime, so it's almost citrusy.
That's got a really cool nose. I've smelled something like that, but not.
You told me the lineage. I forgot it.
Like a cleaning product of some sort.
Lemony, a lot of that lemon.
Yeah, bro. That smells cool. Something from like my past though, like my childhood or something. Like I'm getting something in there. You know what they say? The memories or the smell is the biggest part of memory.
Of course, big part.
Damn, dude. Shout out to Fidel. I gotta get him on the show, bro.
Yeah, you do. He's him
and his brothers, man. Those three are fucking powerhouse, man.
Amazing family.
Yeah, man.
Amazing people. Mom and dad raised some good ones.
Yeah, definitely. Cool story too, man.
Cool story.
I remember whose story I really dove into. I forget which one. I feel like I've heard all three of theirs. But anyway, yeah, good people, man. They're definitely moving and shaking, man.
Them on.
And you guys, we'll circle back to that. I don't want to get too far ahead. So cool, man. You're traveling the world, all over the world, Amsterdam. I mean, you really put in the fucking footwork, bro.
Yeah, Asia. I've been fortunate to, I've done Egypt and Morocco, and I've done India and Nepal. In India specifically, went to Delhi. Our flight was canceled from Delhi to they call it the Himachal Pradesh. It's one of the northern regions that's known for cannabis growing and whatnot. A lot of Manali, Malana, like a lot of these special sacred hash charas areas and whatnot. And I wanted to see it. I had to, I heard about it growing wild and whatnot. And they canceled our flight. This was at a time where you bought everything on Expedia. There's no like refunds. I was printing out my reservations on a paper.
Yeah.
So the only other option, obviously, we got a refund in rupees, which was like a bag of cash, like this big for like $1,000, because even at that time it was an expensive flight, small airplane from Delhi to the hills.
Yeah.
So we had to take a 15-hour taxi or private driver from Delhi to Manali, which is in the Himachal Pradesh.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was amazing though, right?
Yeah, I bet.
Crossed through all of these areas that we would have never seen, where a lot of Indians that I meet today, It's Punjab region, Chandigarh.
Okay.
Like a lot of people that are in America are from that region.
Oh, that's cool.
Of India, big farming region. And we drove all the way up. My now wife and I, and she was my girlfriend. This was the first trip she ever took outside of Thailand. She was crying within like 12 hours, like, what the hell are you bringing me to? Because
she down with the cannabis movement, or
yeah, but at that time she just hadn't really. I used to go to Thailand and I used to like take breaks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get caught up in Thailand. I was doing so well in America. Things were so I didn't.
So it was like a little.
The last thing I needed was to get caught smoking weed. So I would use it as a time to detox and just clean up a little bit, like, so she never really saw too much of me smoking, but she knew what I did. Then over there, I asked the guy, our driver, hey, you know about charas? Oh, you like marijuana? You like hashish? And within like 6 hours of Delhi, started going to the farmlands. He pulled off and he just ripped a tree off the side of the road. It was wheat. It was cannabis growing wild. So once you hit a certain elevation kind of in India, going up towards that region especially, it starts growing, like cannabis grows wild. There were times when I would pull off to go pee when we got up to the Himachal Pradesh. Yeah. And I would go take a leak and I'd be like, I turned my head and just a monstrous budding plant. And it was all hash that I was getting over there. So I was there for 6 days. First day, I chopped some branches off a random budding plant. Yeah. It was seeded and stuff like that. I think it was just wild. And I dried it in my hotel room just so I didn't have to use tobacco as my base.
Oh, there you go.
For the hash.
There you go. Nice.
So I was rather smoke ditch hemp weed than tobacco. Yeah. I just, because you needed a little base. Right? Sure. So... he gave me I met a guy pretty quick, got a couple tolas, they call them, like a little I think it's like 10 grams, like in a bar. Oh, okay, gotcha. TOLA, tola, they call it, that's what the terminology is of like an eighth or like an ounce or zip, whatever.
Sure, it's there's a tolas.
Exactly, gotcha. Little bars, and I got a couple varieties and got a chillum. And within my hotel, I still have pictures of it and everything.
Oh, that's legend, bro.
Smoking chillums in the hotel and going around driving and just checking that whole area. And then we went to Nepal. We flew to Nepal, saw Nepal. So a lot. But then I went to, back to Thailand, and I was lucky to go Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Burma, Laos, Vietnam, really just experiencing a lot of, no Philippines yet, no Brunei, a couple other places, but cannabis isn't too friendly. Cannabis isn't too friendly there yet, so I'm kind of avoiding. Bali, I'm avoiding. Indonesia, I'm avoiding. Yeah, Singapore, I'm avoiding. It's unfortunate, but just.
Yeah, they ain't with it. They ain't with it. So I saw, just to speak on your trip to India for a second, I saw a documentary. I think it was a strain hunters documentary when they went to this majestic mountain in India, and they were making charas, and they were showing the process on how they do it with their hands, and they're pretty much making finger hash with this shit.
Yeah, because you can't dry, right? Growing hillsides, right? They grow hillsides deep. I think that was Malana, which is like a hill. It's like an area of Himachal Pradesh up in the hills. You have to hike to. There's no roads. Yeah, you have to hike to it. Yes. And the people there believe that they say that they're related to Alexander the Great, like the originals. So they're like a special people. You're not allowed to touch them. If you're not from there, you're not allowed to stay the night or whatnot. But they're in the hills. It's moist. It's wet. It's cold. They don't have areas to dry the plants or just like do a process like in Morocco, which is they dry the plants and then they have these like boxes and they beat it like drums. Yep, I've seen that. And then the keef falls down and then they press the keef. Right. That's Afghanistan. Yes. That's dry. That's like California. It's Morocco. Sure. Over there, it's humid, cold, wet, treacherous terrain, all that. So the hands, right? Like that. Resin, obviously, more plant matter. Yep. More plant matter than the other process, a little bit more intox, but I'm sure different varieties and different techniques, maybe a little bit more delicate. Like the soft is like the first one, right? And then you separate the first one. Yeah, the first pull. And then you get rough. Yeah, all that, and they have different grades probably. I'm sure that's how they do it. Okay. But these people would like literally all day, and it's on their hands. That's India and Nepal. Yeah. The charas type of cannabis.
How do you like charas?
It's stony.
Stony?
So
You said it's stony.
when I was just in, it's hard to find outside of India now.
Really?
Obviously, just with COVID people are just it's not. There's so much hash elsewhere that it's not as in demand maybe as it was before because it's so dark and whatever. But I was just in Amsterdam after Barcelona this last year, Cannabis, and I went with, Fidel, the brother, Aram, Serge, all the guys.
Yeah.
And we were there, and there's still a place, Katsu, 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 legendary coffee shop, been there definitely since the 80s, long time, I'm pretty sure since the 80s, and known for hash, and they still have a really good Indian hash.
No shit.
So
and this
still
is
there
in
Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam. Okay, got
Right.
it.
If you don't want to go to India, you don't want to go to that it's not easy to find. People can use a little Europe trip to like try things like that.
That's cool.
Kind of save a little, and it's good Indian hash too. A lot of the time, the tourists don't get the best stuff either. When traveling.
Yeah, of course.
You have to,
of course. You gotta know a guy.
Yeah, if you're just asking a random dude, it's a crapshoot.
Exactly. That's tight, bro. Damn.
So India, that area that you were speaking about, Malana, very special sacred area of northern India, near the Himalayas. Himachal Pradesh, Himalaya. I'm sure has some kind of the HIM has something to do with that mountain range, and it's just crazy. A lot of people are doing a lot of trekking and what around there. The Dalai Lama is in Dharamsala, so you have a lot of monks and stuff there, and then like Leh and Kashmir, which is like northern India. It's like Pakistan is like in that north of that, so it's in like a cool, different area.
That's fun.
India's cool. India's cool.
That's incredible. You went out there, man.
Yeah, blessed. That's what I did with I didn't blow money on a lot of other. That's what I spent all my money.
So you
on.
spent your money. You collected memories.
Yeah. Exactly.
That you have, and like you can tell these stories, and we just sit there like I haven't said 20 words on this show, man. I'm just like listening to your story. This is great, man. It's like that when you talk to somebody when they're well traveled. You know what I'm saying? And it's fun to talk to somebody when you are also well traveled because you kind of trade stories and like, oh shit, tell me about this spot, man.
Traveling.
Yeah, I'm totally into that. Yeah, man, I'm into all that.
Sites.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the one thing is people like to see different things a lot of time on people get fulfilled different ways in travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like my mom, for example, doesn't love traveling with me because she says all I do is think about food, which I do, and then obviously she doesn't use cannabis, which I do. So but she loves museums. She loves, which I can take in little doses.
Yeah, we can hit one or two.
I can't spend my whole time. She's also a shopper. We shop differently. She works in retail. I was traumatized by her taking me shopping so much as a child that I try to go in and out as fast and hard as possible.
Me too.
Like get it, maybe buy it online so I don't have to go in. But
going to the mall with my wife gives me anxiety. I want nothing to do with it.
No, I have an 11-year-old,
take the fucking money and just
12-year-old daughter going on 20-year-old daughter loves the mall. It's over. No,
forget about it. Yeah, I have a 20-year-old daughter as well.
Yeah. No, she's 12.
Oh, she's 12. Going on 20. Oh yeah, she'll get there one day.
I have a 26-year-old stepson.
Okay.
So we brought my wife's son over from Thailand in 90.
How's that going?
In 2006.
How's he doing?
Great.
Good.
2016.
Good. That was it. How's he like in the States?
He's great. He works at Natura. He's never taken a puff of cannabis in his life, and he works cultivation.
Nice, bro.
Does a lot. People, really enjoy him. He's helps. He's a solid guy.
Yeah, man.
Solid young man. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Shout out Beer. Bro. His name's Beer too.
Beer.
That's how you know he's not my son. My true son.
Yeah.
Because if it was my son, his name would be Weed or Ganja or Nug or,
I didn't know where you're going
not
with that.
Beer. Not beer. His dad liked to drink.
For sure. That's cool. That's an interesting name. Beer. Beer?
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Because that's not his like government name. Everyone in Thailand has like a government name and then a nickname.
Okay, cool.
Government names are usually
it's kind of like Jersey.
Pretty much.
Everybody's fucking nickname. That's cool, man.
Pretty much. And it's usually like a little animal. Like my wife is
animal?
A crab. Poo.
Okay.
Doesn't sound good, but poo means crab. And then you have like her sister's Nook or bird.
Okay. That's cool, man.
My brother's palm, like a palm tree.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I can dig that. God damn, bro. Where are we now? So, okay, so that's the Asia tour. When do you come back to the States and start Pistol Point and then Natura? Is it in that order?
I came back and I started working in medical cannabis, started helping a lot of had properties in Northern California.
Okay, okay.
And then I met my partners through just working through medical and
Sure.
and in Northern California, who came out west and started Pistol Point in Oregon.
Okay. What's the Oregon scene like, bro? I know very little about it. California.
Very
craft
competitive,
shows.
very small,
Okay.
very small, very craft.
Really?
A lot of great product. In my
Really?
opinion, Oregon has some of the best, genetics,
No shit, man.
hash makers.
Let me find out, Oregon.
Yeah, I always called it like the Japan of the West. Like they're very crafty,
No
very
shit, man.
honorable people that they get dedicated to certain things and
Mm-hmm.
they focus on them really, deeply. So you have a lot of artists, a lot of different types of just a lot of artsy cultural,
doubt.
great restaurants and food and people, well-traveled people,
Cool,
and whatnot,
man.
open-minded,
Cool,
liberal
I would've never known
place.
that.
Yeah, so we were one of the first medical and then recreational indoor producers in Oregon. Had a lot of great, networks. Everyone brought in, networks
Nice.
to bring something to the table. And then, I was never able to fully live in Oregon because I had the kids, and then I found out my son, when he was 2, was autistic, and
Got you.
it was
That's
tough
a
for
lot.
me.
It's tough.
I was, and I made it known that I wasn't able to really move to Oregon. And then eventually Natura came up. I found out about it. I heard about a really big investment that was being done by Ori, and we were at a similar event. Event in it was at Cannacraft at Hall of Flowers. They had a party. It was the night before Select actually went public. They did a sale. Select Oil, Cameron and them sold for like $890 million to Cure. I think it was Curaleaf or whatever.
Okay.
But this was the night before. So it was a long time ago. Long time, and the industry's changed so much since then. And people were telling me about this guy who was doing this amazing project in Sacramento, and he's Israeli. My dad's from Israel. And I just
he's Israeli. No
he's
shit.
Israeli,
Okay.
and he's like, they're like, you need to meet my. He was on the other side of the room talking to like my 2 friends that I was working with at the time, and I grew up with also.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to meet this guy. He's like one of your people. He's
Sure.
Jewish.
Sure.
Like one of your people, and he's doing this crazy project. So I met him. Told me it's a $90 million project in Sacramento. I'm a food guy, right? I grew up with parents in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But I also had an uncle that had a chocolate company that sold chocolates internationally, locally and internationally.
Yeah.
So when I would go to the supermarket growing up, my parents also had a salad dressing, 3 flavors that were on the shelf.
No shit, dude.
In California
What
only.
flavors?
It was like a house dressing, lemon caper, and I forgot what the third one was.
Nice.
But at that time, it was the 80s, like maybe early 90s, California only, but very popular dressing. Nathan's, like my father's name, like the restaurant. They finished that. So, but I would see that in the supermarkets, and then my uncle's chocolates were also in select supermarkets. And then also really high-end retails around the world, like
Wow, bro.
Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, in Harrods in the UK, Takashimaya in Tokyo, like the biggest of the bigs. And he did beautiful things with chocolate. Joseph Schmidt Confections, that you can still see online. He's still alive. He sold to Hershey's.
No shit.
But he had a massive factory, hundreds of employees, white jackets.
Yeah.
No one wore the outfit. It was clean. So I grew up with that kind of food, restaurant, hospitality, commercial, go to retail background.
It's just building your mind.
Yeah, and
for
I
all
think
of this.
that goes into a little bit of like creating at Natura and in general, and just the thrill and of seeing products in dispensaries and people enjoying them and resonating with them, because that's what I did. Like, and I brought stuff from 2 of the brands. We have other things going on. I brought D-Tie and Sluggers, but if you look at them, like I'm a white kid from the Bay, grew up with so many Asians. I went to Asian supermarkets for everything. That
Is that right?
But I said the white kid from the Bay because I grew up with all these Asian treats.
Yeah.
Like I grew up eating Chinese food more days a week than I did. I think I had a love for Japan,
The Asian culture,
and China,
yeah,
Asian culture.
yeah, definitely, bro.
A lot of my classmates were starting in 6th grade, especially, were from Taiwan. Came from Taiwan.
Cool, man.
Came from China. Came from Vietnam to the Bay Area. Their parents were working in the
Yeah.
Bay Area. They would bring candy, White Rabbits, Super Lemons, Super Colas, all of these crazy candies. The other fruity gummies that I would be like, whoa, these are
Whoa,
crazy.
what
Because
is
I was
that?
in the candy. Because my uncle would only have the
Sure,
chocolate. I'd always have a room of truffle.
You were the chocolate plug.
Exactly.
And
right?
they had all the cool Asian
And so I
shit.
had a sweet tooth. I always liked to eat. So I was tripping out. And then my boy Jimmy Saruki, his family, I became friends later, but his family used to have an Asian supermarket. And we would go there and get, Super Colas, Super Lemons. They're a little sour, like on the outside, and really, but cool packaging, like Don Murpho's and a couple of those guys that packaging that
cool
is like
retro packaging.
That's kind of cartoon.
Yeah.
That's from the Super Lemon and Super Cola.
Dude, that's where my
vibe.
mind went,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
That's
a lot of
literally
that-
where my mind
that
went. The
design.
super lemon poppers and shit like that.
A lot of that stuff is a lot of the super dope stuff.
Yeah, the
That's
super dope.
more and a lot of the sushi stuff. That's like the Japanese anime vibe. I love
cool.
that.
It's one of my favorite.
That's more
packages.
Japanese. So this is on the Thai,
definitely.
Asian as well. But
It's so fucking
love
cool,
it.
man. So what else is going on down there in Natura? It's fucking powerhouse you guys got down there, man.
we do a lot. We have a lot of amazing team members.
Yeah.
It's a 12-acre campus. We have 2 brands of our own. Sluggers Hit and D-Tie. Sluggers were over, I want to say, like 15 unique SKUs in the packs right now,
Nice.
which is a full eighth, 3.5 grams.
Nice.
5 joints, each 0.7.
Okay.
Most of the infused pre-roll brands out there are 2.5 grams.
Okay.
So it's definitely a value add.
Nice,
As
bro.
far as most people don't think of it like that. They're just thinking about it like all of them the same, but it's another gram. They're made to be ripped open. Also, good inputs. We're putting good inputs in it. They're made to be ripped open in the sense like if you rip open other joints, kind of like dissecting a hot sausage or a hot dog, right? If I have a chicken apple sausage and I cut it open and I don't see chunks of apple and nice chunks of chicken, like it's kind of like
what was in there,
right?
Yeah.
Same goes with joints. Like if you rip open most joints, a lot of people are slipping in like trim.
Bro.
They're coloring or I'm sorry, flavoring or infusing the input material and it's really dark. It's just ugly and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe sticks sometimes, even seed shells. We have pure flour in ours. We roll it in. We stuff it in a cone. We paint it with live resin, and then we roll it in keef.
Nice.
Right, so we're not using any distillate.
No disti. Okay,
No
that's
distillate.
painted in live resin. Nice, bro. I didn't know that.
We're really kind of trying to create the best in class, right? The best option for the infused pre-roll smoker, which is the fastest growing segment in cannabis.
It sure is.
The largest, because the more and more smokers that are coming online every day that are smoking, they don't either have a consistent supply of good quality flower or they don't know how to roll. And it's just so easy for them to pull out a joint and smoke it.
Yeah.
And sluggers are infused, triple infused, so there's definitely pack a punch. Someone can even smoke half and then half later. But we have great collabs. This one today, I have the Gas House collab.
Shout out a couple of them, man.
Shout out, Gas House, Dub's Garden, La Cause.
Nice, bro. Shout out Cause.
Yeah. Who else do we got? We got Cookies.
No doubt.
Smokers Club.
Shice Bubs.
Shice Bubs.
Hell yeah.
Johnny Shipe, Smoke DZA.
Yep, it's DZA.
Yeah, who else do we have?
What's up, man?
We have Tony Greenhand collab.
Tight.
UF Oreos.
Tight.
We're about to have a collab with, I think we're about to have Gumbo.
Okay.
We're about to have
the biggest.
Champelli.
Hell yeah. Pelly, nice, bro.
Backpack Boys.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Fidel has a collab with us.
I think like was Fidel the
On the
first
slow-
one you
yeah.
guys rocked with?
Yeah, Fidel.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Fidel.
Hell yeah, shout out. Killing it, man. It's a nice lineup, my friend.
Yeah.
And bro,
Probably
I'm from the, not to cut you, but I have to compliment you on your packaging and what's inside besides some fire pre-rolls. Like, I come from the, you know, fucking go buy a CD or a cassette and I rip the fucking thing open. I'm reading the credits. I'm doing that whole thing like it's an experience.
Little things.
It's the little things. I get a fucking baseball card in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I grew up with Asian candy and
So
baseball
cool,
cards.
bro.
I used to collect all the cards. You know, it went from Tops and Donruss and Fleer as they migrated to Upper Deck. And when Upper Deck came out, right, it was like that new foil vibe that no one had ever seen. Upper Deck was the first.
You rip that open.
Yeah, it was foil. It was sick. You know, and then obviously now cards have like special cards with, you know, special like chrome edition and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we're going to start having fun with the card.
That's cool.
This is like a blown up one right here.
That's fucking fire, bro.
That comes in the Gas House collab. On one side, you usually have a picture of the flower. Or you should have a picture of the flower. And on the opposite side, character. We've done a unique character
I'm looking
for
at
most of the strains.
That's cool.
Come up with some cool stuff. Shout out to the whole team that has taken this from concept to reality.
Yeah.
We have a lot of cool collabs coming up too, and just really good product. We really make sure that good product is going in, and it's just going to get better.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's new and improved, but everything that you can think of usually in the market should just get better. You know, packaging should get a little bit better. Line extensions, you know, Sluggers will become a vape.
Cool.
Live resin vape.
Oh, no shit. Nice. It's a great name,
It'll become
Sluggers.
a single, right? A single.
Singles,
We've done a blunt, which moved really quick.
Nice.
As promo, so now we're going to really put it into motion.
Cool,
a hemp wrap blunt,
Nice,
2
man.
gram with, that one has like live resin, or I think HTE also, and I believe some THCA and Keef.
Damn.
So it's just triple infused also.
Okay. And then your infamous D-Thai gummies.
D-Thai.
Fire.
Plant-based, vegan.
Crazy. They're going crazy out there.
Flavors that came out at a time where everyone is just doing watermelon, grape, apple, the safe one.
The same
If you run a
shit,
company
bro.
and you buy the analytics, the BDS analytics, or you pay the headset, you know, to see the most popular, highest selling this and that, and flavor of this, that.
Yeah.
You find watermelon, you find berry.
Yeah.
Most people go for the safe bet.
Yeah.
They go for the surefire win.
course,
You know, so you know they're nervous to go a different direction. So we wanted to create a brand, or we created a brand. I did this a little bit before Natura, but we've built a lot of it at Natura.
That's cool.
My wife and my wife's from Thailand, and just a team of different people have been really, you know, my sister was even helping at the beginning.
Nice, bro.
Turned it into a reality. Also, D is becoming vapes, is becoming pre-rolls with like a little turb bead in the crutch. We have blunts also, hemp blunts.
Nice.
So it's expanding.
That's tight.
Line extensions expanding.
That's dope, bro. I love what you guys
collabs
doing
on that.
Collabs with Your Highness.
So we have collabs with Your Highness. Collabs, a lot of the, you know, this was Fidel's first pure collab. A lot of the other ones, we grow a good amount of Runsmans for hash production.
Okay.
One of his strains that we grew from seed, and Natura, he actually gave us cuts that are all he selected and whatnot. So we did a flavor with him called we did banana together, but his inputs are in a lot of the other ones. We did a collab with Doja Pack.
That one went crazy.
Yeah, this is with Renee and his team, Lola. Tell
me about the Lola gummies.
So Lola, we have a gentleman that works with us at Natura named Renee, and he started a brand called Lola with us based on his ancestors and I think it was his grandma. He's from northern Sonora, Mexico originally, but he's half native as well, and he is a healer. You know, some call him a shaman. Yeah. Some call him, you know, a energy reader. You know, whatnot. Sure. He does different. He does different things like combo, which is like a frog ceremony. It's like a frog
toad?
venom that's non-psycho. No, it's one that they burn you and it makes you throw up and purge. It doesn't make you trip or anything like that.
Got you.
And then he also just does a lot of other, herbal healing and whatnot. Long story short is that this Dreamy D collab uses CBN, but also uses other flowers and plants that he selected that also have calming and sedative effects.
Fire, bro. Nobody has that.
No, it's just awesome. And he's
so
always
dope.
around our campus. His energy kind of goes into each department. So that's our nighttime version, right? Everything else is
try those, man.
full spectrum rosin.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you eat a little bit, you're cool. You know, eat too much, you're a little.
I've seen people eat too many of those.
Yeah, and then this is the most, the newest collab is with West Coast Alchemy, which was an amazing collab. This is with his extract. Shout out to the GOAT.
For real.
He had a lot of respect for the brand D-Thai, and we met over the last, call it 6 months, officially. I'd been a big fan and admirer and consumer for a long time. I think got his collab right here.
Everybody got a jar of West Coast in their stash.
Yeah,
bro.
with my boy First Class Concentrates right here. So this is the collab, the Yellow Starburst. I've been holding on nursing this one for a minute. So that one's super tasty. But this is with his Trop Cake, which is really came in. The food grade that we got from him is just as good as some of the dabbables from most people, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it was exciting, and I think he's stoked off of it, and
it's awesome.
We're stoked off of it, and we
first
rec
collab for him, right?
Yeah.
Nice, bro. Congratulations.
So it was an honor to work together and to have the ability to co-brand.
That's sick, bro. And let me tell you something. For those that don't know, a lot of people have been trying to get a collab or get him to come into the rec market, and they did it. Damn it, they did it. I fucking love it.
We tried, so D-Thai, just a fun brand, really in the spirit of it.
Yeah,
Thailand.
That's cool. What does it mean?
D means good.
Good.
Like something of a high standard of D. Something may D, it means not good, right?
Okay, gotcha.
So it's like D is strong word, sabai D or sawadi, good day.
Okay.
Like you hear the word D a lot in Thai, in the Thai language. You also hear in Lao language D. So it's like a Lao Thai word that's well known, and
I dig it.
Just means good. And
D pizza.
D pizza.
You feel me?
Yep, I'm sure there is one.
You're right.
Yeah,
right, for sure.
Yeah.
Love that,
D
bro.
pizza.
Love that, man.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, D pizza.
Yeah.
It's fucking good.
Yeah.
It's good pizza, man.
D pizza.
I love that.
Genius.
Let me ask you this, bro. What are your thoughts on the state of the game right now, man?
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. Like the industry, a lot of the regulations are so difficult. Like it's almost like a lot of the things that people thought were going to happen are happening, whereas a lot of the small producers are getting squeezed out. They're quitting, or they're getting out of it just because it's not realistic and they can't lose money like they are. And the rules and the laws and the getting a license is not easy. It takes a lot of work. It's difficult. You need teams and whatnot. And
teams and pools of money.
And before it was a relatively easy way of just getting started and operating alone and whatnot.
Yeah.
But now, it's you can't really grow a lot. It doesn't really, if people want to do it as a passion project, it's one thing. But if it becomes their livelihood, it's difficult.
Yeah,
it's difficult
for sure.
Especially with the collapse in the price of outdoor flower.
Yeah, dude.
And just like the before outdoor flower was a thing.
Yeah.
And now you're paying almost as much to trim it sometimes.
Yeah.
As you are getting to sell it.
Right.
So
that's scary.
Yeah.
That's real scary.
You're not growing as much as you were before, people are, and it's risky. So I don't know. I just hope everyone just, if the passion's there, the passion's there. I'm lucky to be surrounded by people in a place that I believe will be around for a while.
No doubt.
And I just hope everyone can continue to do, you know, what they love to do as long as they can. And it's definitely difficult. I would say, you know, a lot of things in life don't happen that haven't happened before. And if you study the alcohol industry and the way, you know, it was legal and then it was illegal and then it was legal, right? There's a lot of similar patterns.
Very.
Some people were telling me, I was just in New York, I was hearing some great stories about, you know, we forget a lot of these things, but it's a lot of the Irish immigrants, for example, other countries, but Irish immigrants, Italian immigrants.
Yeah.
They came to America as immigrants, Ellis Island, other places. They could drink alcohol in their home countries.
Yeah.
Then they came here and it became illegal, or it was illegal to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it's like, it's so similar. Cannabis is illegal, so then you can come to America and places like California, or you can, and then you're supposed to go home to Dubai, or go home to Singapore, or go home to Copenhagen, or go home, you know what I mean, and not want it.
Right.
Impossible.
Right.
And that's why Thailand is actually so important for that region, because so many people travel there for leisure and fun. They're going to try cannabis for the first time, enjoy it, go home and be like, I need it. And it's going to cause like a lot of destigmatization and whatnot. It's a process though, you know?
It is.
But yeah, it's so someone was telling me that about how similarities in liquor, you know, became illegal. You had all this like black market and whatnot. People at one point, and I'm sure select few crews still like cherish a nice jar of moonshine. But I'll tell you one thing, 99% of society would rather not drink it if they don't have to, because they don't know what's in it. They don't know. But there was a time that was all there was, right? Yeah. And, you know, think of liquor bottles and companies and whiskey companies in Kentucky and whatnot. Those guys were gangsters. Like a lot of the guys that, you know, are, you know, what are they? Colonel Taylor. Well, they were colonels, but they were like, bootleggers. There was Elijah Craig. There's all these brands, right, that are built on like bootlegger, like kind of, at the time people considered them gangsters, right? Because they were working with liquor and all this. It was illegal, but they got now market. They have companies. The names are marketed. Pappy Van Winkle. Yeah. All this, right? So cannabis is kind of going that direction, especially CPG. It's almost like a hybrid of alcohol, pharma, a lot of like the stuff you see like on the shelf, like Tylenol or NyQuil or Advil with compliance, super compliant. Canadian, a lot of other states are very compliant. New York's gonna be very compliant with the regulated, so you have to have very plain packaging, right? Yeah.
Same with Florida.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hybrid of all of kind of that together. Cannabis is, you know, picks up certain states are a little easier to have fun, become more like, you know, packaged food products. Some states we couldn't run this packaging in because you can't even show fruit. So we'd have to take a different, you know,
isn't that a pain in the balls?
Yeah, we haven't expanded yet. So so once we expand,
you got to figure that out.
We have to figure that out state by state with compliance of keeping the packaging.
That's actually a good segue into my next question, man. What's the next 5-10 look like for you guys, man? What's the plan? What's the big play?
I think really what we're doing is like, you know, building the book, right? Like when I say building the book is like if you open a franchise or a factory or a you know a restaurant of another brand or someone else's in another place in the world, in the state, in the country, in the world, you need to have a book, right? A to Z. You know, this is all the SOPs.
All the SOPs,
This is what works. This is what doesn't work.
Yep.
These are the SKUs. This is the packaging, lead times, you know, this, that. And we're new, right?
And you're still writing the book.
We're still writing the book. And what we're once we have the book,
no doubt,
take some of the brands, license them or create them in other
IP
states.
Deals. Yep.
Other states, kind of do it in other states, make sure that we're readily available to, you know, patients, and if it's recreational, 21 and over, everyone, and then go kind of state by state. Really, I think we're looking at the end of the year to start doing that. To start thinking that. No specific states yet, but we've gotten approached from certain people, you know, different states to do the two brands.
Well, that's good when they're knocking on your door.
Yeah, no,
you
it
know?
was good. It was good.
That's cool.
Or it's been good.
That's great. Man.
And so I think that's the next step is really license the brand out.
Yeah.
The vision long term with Natura was to have, call it 15 to 20 of these type of campuses around the world.
Yeah, that's great.
And really do joint
That'll
ventures or partner with the right people and have the access. You know, eventually we believe it'll federally, you know, laws will federally lift.
Right.
So you want to be concerned with obviously making enough for America.
Sure.
But in the long run,
what's wrong with worldwide?
Exactly.
You
know, I always my little spiel is that we're creating the United Nations of cannabis, right? And I'm a civil rights kind of guy, right? I had a dispensary at a time or a collective dispensary, whatever you want to call it, when it was not very cool to have one, and my parents weren't very proud, and all that stuff, right? I was, you know, so cannabis for me, I would say when I'm going to be fully satisfied is when it's a lot to get to this stage. Is when cannabis is respected internationally, like tobacco and like liquor and like perfumes and candy, and can be sold in a duty free in an airport, and you can buy, call it one thing. I'm sure there's limits. Maybe some countries will say, they'll check and they'll be like, oh, you're traveling to Saudi Arabia as your final destination. You cannot bring any cannabis products with you. Same with liquor.
Sure.
All good. Oh, but you're traveling to Colombia. Oh, they allow you to take up to a half ounce or whatever. And certain brands will be relevant brands, and they'll be on that shelf, just like only certain brands make it to a major airport like JFK or LAX or SFO or
same shit,
you know, and sold in liquor or perfume or tobacco or whatnot. That's when I'm cool. I think it's going to be like 7 to 10 years, but we're building those brands. Not me, I'm trying.
Yeah,
but all of us, we're all building. And everyone that's really creating great products. There's other people out there, a lot of other people. We're all competing.
Competing,
to
but
be those brands
off each other.
To be those brands. Who's going to be the brand? Who's going to be available?
Who's going to be the next XYZ?
Because who's going to be the one that what's the brand that the world's going to demand? You know, and consider to be the best. Because just like if you get a Parmesan cheese, it's not from the Reggiano region of Italy, or if you buy like a jamon that's not from Spain with I call the Iberican ham, but it's not from, you know, certain part of Spain with a certain, or the prosciutto, you know, from
Parma.
Exactly, from Parma. Same thing, you know, balsamic from Modena.
Right.
It's just, it's not as good.
From France.
Not as good. Parmesan, or I'm sorry, Champagne.
You know what I'm saying?
All that. So
it's relevant.
So
great,
California.
Some of the wines from Northern California, and the cannabis from Northern California.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So Sluggers will get to more states than California. It'll have a different branding or a different compliance from different states on it. But there's definitely a perceived value of that California one. And I think in the long run, California is always going to be known for being, you know, the best quality product, the most consistent.
Definitely.
365 days a year.
Yes.
No offense to any other states.
Not at all. But that's why I take security in living here. And like, all right, you know what? No matter what, we'll be good. I'll be good. I'll be good. Me and my family will be good. I'm staying here.
Yeah. It's inconsistent everywhere else.
Exactly.
You have weather problems. And
bro.
Whatever. Or it's just not as big or not as many opportunities.
Yep. That's true.
We're blessed here.
Super blessed.
But New York is crazy too. New York's fun too. But
New York's on fire right now, bro. I love to see it.
Yeah.
I love to see it, man. But yeah, it's not as big, and the weather sucks. Upstate New York,
brutal.
For growing. You get one season, and that's fucking crapshoot.
Yeah. No, I got into Syracuse.
I've been in Syracuse.
I got into Syracuse.
Shout out to Syracuse.
I got into Boston University. I got into Drexel University in Philly. I was gonna maybe go to American University. I didn't apply to one school out of high school in California. And not that I don't hate my parents.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate my parents like that. I just wanted to get as far away as possible.
That's cool, man.
So that's how I ended up in Miami.
That's dope, bro.
I applied to Miami, but I ended up in
As a
Boston.
young man, that was a great move, bro. Because I was the opposite. I want to stay in Jersey. I want to see my homies on the weekends. Plus, I was like hustling and shit. So I had to get back to it on the weekends. You know what I mean? Put myself through college, shit like that. So, you know what I mean? It was just a different scenario. But looking back, I wish I would have just went to California. I would have got the plug. We would have got shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even got to tell you.
A lot of good pizza.
A lot of good pizza, bro. A lot of good pizza. Let me ask you this, bro. What do you know that the people should know, or is there any cannabis myths that you can debunk?
Cannabis myths.
Or what are you calling bullshit on that you see out there?
What am I calling bullshit on? Just a lot of, this whole spray terps thing.
Oof, that's a bad one, and
it's really bad.
Very current.
It's really bad because at the end of the day, like, a lot of the studies haven't been done, right? Long-term effects and all this stuff, and I think as few variables as possible in the combustion, especially the burning of cannabis, the better. I have no idea what happens when you combust some of these things.
Yeah.
I have no idea with fake terps when they burn,
right,
what happens in your lungs and your body. No one knows.
No one knows.
It can't be good.
No way.
It can't be good.
No way.
So it's definitely not in the right spirit of what we got into this for.
No,
like it's like buying dry weed or over drying your weed and adding a bunch of wet moisture back into it that goes away within days. It's but you sell it and then it dries out on these people, like, that would happen, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like doing that, and that's safer.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you're reintroducing mold spores and whatnot and getting it wet.
That's where my mind
That's already bad. It's like how we used to put orange peel.
Yeah.
It was
to freshen up your weed.
It's all bad. It's
terrible.
Mold spores, so like that's right now this sprayed weed shit is crazy. Like I think it's,
it's scary, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary. So we're going to take an absolute U-turn and go to what are your check marks for quality cannabis? Certainly not sprayed cannabis, folks.
So definitely not sprayed. For flower.
Yeah, flower.
Properly dried and hand trimmed always. No machine. People see Natura. They're like, we're huge. Why they would think we'd have all these machines trimmed. We have everything's hand trimmed.
Oh yeah, I've been in the trim rooms.
Yeah, no machine.
Absolutely.
Believe in and honor the art of trimming. I've done it.
Yeah, same.
Not fun.
No,
and
trim gel sucks.
It. Yeah, it's
hell yeah. You do a couple bids, you respect that shit.
Big respect to the trimmers and all the workers and employees that do all the shit that's not easy and someone's got to do it.
What is your why? Why do you do it? What makes you get up and fucking go and get after it?
Passion. I'm passionate, right? I'm passionate about the plant. I believe in the plant. Like I mentioned earlier, I lost friends to a lot of other, harmful. I use cannabis really as my personal medicine. It helps me stay sane. It helps me keep a perfect life balance and I still get things done, and I'm not actually using all day. I'm working, and then I use, sometimes earlier, but mostly just can kind of push through, and afternoon later, and then evening, and then I'm good. But I get stuff done throughout the day. I love it so much. I don't know what else I would be doing right now. I have so much.
It shows, bro.
So much interest in what we do with the plant and what it does for people. There's the aspect too of creating like products that people see and become one with. It becomes a part of their daily regimen, and I have so many amazing products in my daily regimen, be it a certain coffee I drink in the morning, a specific bean of coffee that I'm grinding and drinking as my coffee.
What you drinking? What you sipping on, Josh?
One of my good friends, the Colombians, they have a place well, headquartered in Colombia, but they import all the beans from Colombia to Brooklyn. Nice. And they roast everything in Brooklyn and Williamsburg. It's called Devoción.
Okay.
And you know, I'm a monthly subscriber to the coffees. I get 2 bags a month.
There you go.
Sent to me.
Nice.
And just
some gas.
Yeah, it's next level. All Colombian, single origin, different tastes, different farms.
Sure.
Fresh green coffee with a green date and a roast date. Most coffee that you buy is just freshly roasted, older green coffee. This is like freshly picked green.
Wow.
So it's like literally you're drinking coffee that was just picked.
And I can order this online?
You can order it online.
Plug them real quick.
Devoción, Steve.
Devoción.
Yep.
I'm tap in with y'all.
So yeah, and then colognes and all that stuff, specific brands of cologne. You know, everyone's, you know, just becoming those, and all that is just quality.
Okay.
Becoming all that in life, good pizza, like all that is quality, right? Someone trusts. It's trust. What is a brand? What is a brand? A brand is a promise to the consumer that, you know, of consistency, of something they can rely on, something they can depend on.
Yeah.
That's all we're trying to do. And to do that, you really have to think of it. You have to make sure you have the supply chain.
Yeah.
You know, can't have people wanting it and it's not available too long.
Bro.
But you have to, you know, maybe have it limited a little so it's a little special.
It's a fine line, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Between like we got it and there's some scarcity and some FOMO. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving a shaker, successful fellow like you, I'm curious if you have a special morning routine that you could share with us.
So morning, I wake up early. My dad used to go to work really early in the morning, 6:30. And growing up, if I didn't see him in the morning, there were some days I wouldn't see him at all because he'd come back late at night.
Yeah.
So I would always, I think, wake up early, get used to waking up early to say hello or whatever, and then you know, he would go. So I still wake up early every day.
That's good, man.
I go to the gym a little bit. Less lately. That, you know, I had a car accident 3 years ago. I was at a red light in El Dorado Hills. Some woman smashed me from behind. Damn. Just fucked my shit up.
Yeah,
like I still feel like a little lopsided. A little. I just don't feel like I'm. You know, the gym. I've never had that crazy intensity again, but I've also was careful a little bit too because it just hurt me. So ever since that, I've been taking it easy, but I eat a lot. I love food. I have to go to the gym 5 days, maybe 6 days a week.
Just to keep up with your eating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Cardio, a little bit of lifting, not crazy because I don't want to hurt myself too much. But I'm active. So waking up, do that, take my daughter to school. Monday through Friday, I usually take my daughter to school. She goes a little early, drop her off, so I get to work not too late. I started relatively early if I'm on campus, I like to go in pretty early, and then I go in, kind of do my walk around, check in on everyone. Definitely like the energy of just checking out things, and then
off to the races. Love it.
Head home later in the day. That's when I'm in SAC, you know, or I'm schlepping around to different shops and trying to meet as many people in the shops as I can, and
that's how
always
you do it,
busy,
brother.
Always something to do.
That's how you do it. I like it, man. Solid morning routine.
Always something to do.
Love that. Yeah. If you had a weed superpower, what would it be?
A weed superpower would be.
I can give you some examples if you need one.
Yeah, of course.
So extractors always want to know what if I can look at the weed and know what it yields, or maybe some growers be like, I snap my fingers and my whole plant's cropped. You know what I'm saying?
I would probably like, obviously the yield is important, but I would just want to know like what the hash like tastes like, or you know, right away.
Right away, yeah.
You know, just so some way of just getting the because we used to, you know, I'm the kind of kid that used to open my Hanukkah presents, the paper, and I need to peek inside to know what it looks like before, close it up and like act surprised, but I already knew what I was getting. I hate surprises, right?
Really?
So with plants, when I would grow them, I always want to know what the bud would smell like, you know, before, now I'm more of a hash guy, but before as a flower guy. So we would, you know, usually you can stem rub. especially early in flower, you could rub like the stem in a certain way, maybe like a little more, rub it a little like, tougher than, just a little coarser or whatnot, and then you get the smell, and you could kind of know what the strain was going to smell like. Same for
shit.
hash, right? Because this, right? Like, he said it was like less than 1%,
Yeah.
But it's still like you if it's that good, right? Same applies to a lot of other things. If you get a little, it has that much more value just because of how special it is.
Exactly.
And limited.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just throw it in the garbage.
I mean, look what Blue Zushi just did, man.
Yeah.
1,000 a gram.
Yep.
More than cocaine, folks.
Shout out Tenko. Shout out
Tenko,
Alchemy.
man. Yeah, man. Did West Coast watch that?
That was a
collab. Sick. I didn't know. I didn't get one. I didn't know who watched it. I didn't know. My boy Ted got one. He said it was fire.
I tried it though. It was really good.
Tried it? Nice,
really
bro. Yeah, at least you say you tried it. That's tight, man. Here's a good one for you. This is time for you to tell us your top 3 strains of all time.
Okay.
1 old school, 1 new school, and 1 desert island. You're stuck on the island. Nobody's coming for Josh.
1 old school, 1 new
What you got?
The old school strain, it's tough. I knew this question was coming too.
It's not gonna be easy, man.
The old school strain is definitely like a OG.
Okay.
Like a real, like one of the original, like the OG, like pure, like at San Fernando Valley, just before any viruses, just sticky gas, right?
Yeah.
New school, it's not that new, but it's and this is the tough one because it's kind of my desert island strain too. So I have.
You can do
Okay,
3.
yeah,
you can do all 3 the same.
Okay,
This is your truth.
Okay, so it's kind of old school too, but it's not as old, right? So old school, and I've heard some other people say Capis. Shout out Capis.
Shout out Capis, for sure.
There was one that used to go around that was ammonia, just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's that one that everyone's talking about. But you had OG and then like a good headband. Like a really good headband. Like it wasn't sour and it wasn't OG, but it was like that perfect blend of the two. And then the new is the Z.
The Z.
And it's not that new, but it's for me. That's like all like I could put, and rosin flour does not matter.
All
put
day.
20 things on the table in front of me. I'll come back to especially the better of a Z or the more pronounced flavor, and I'll go back to it almost every time.
Every time.
I need it.
So we're going Z for new and headband for the island?
Probably. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Something just gassy.
Yeah.
Because on an island,
gas
you're definitely already.
You're going through it, bro, and you want to sleep.
Yeah, you're tropics. You need to function though, because you're on an island, right? You need.
Yeah.
You might need to go climb coconut, drink coconuts.
Yeah, man.
You don't want to be lazy.
All that island shit.
Yeah.
I feel it. If you could bring back a strain, what would it be? But it's really not here no more.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of these strains are here. Like the Capis, I'm sure someone has it out there.
No, man.
But that's up there. So we used to get one out of Tahoe that was crazy, like fluffy, like ammonia. So that and a strain called Blue Dot. There was a strain called Blue Dot that was available I got it in the Bay. I'm sure it was Northern California.
Circa what years?
98 to 2000.
Damn. Oh, no, I didn't hear about that.
It was the first branded weed, pretty much, that I ever saw. It came in a little tin can, tin, almost Altoid, but like tin, like
for sure,
like silver, and it was Pharmacy Blue Dot, and it was like a blueberry cross. Sweet, like a sweet blueberry. They also used that Blue Dot extract in the Bay, and it was just like really like just stony indica, like blue candy like flavor. Not this new candy with like the
gelato rush type,
all that, but like just this real like Afgui was a candy strain, a little bit sweet, but really good.
So we're going Capis?
Yeah, probably Capis.
Capis, yeah. Favorite place to smoke?
Favorite place to smoke? Probably the comfort of my home as much as possible. But
it's a good room.
Yeah.
You a
yeah.
garage guy? Living room?
If it's
Man
actual
cave?
smoke,
Yeah.
I have to go outside, or
Yeah.
I do go
We
outside
got
or
kids and
whatnot.
shit.
Yeah, if it's like a Puffco, something like along those lines, I'm pretty safe.
Pretty safe. Yeah, it's safe. It's fucking vapor.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out Puffco.
Shout out Puffco.
Hell yeah.
And then outside, I would say if possible, like near a beach or on an island.
Yeah.
Like in Thailand, like on a boat, like going from the mainland to an island, like now all that shit's possible.
Yeah. It's
now
true.
in Thailand, you give your taxi driver a little extra tip, and you negotiate. He lets you smoke in the car, driving around, hotboxing. All good.
Yeah.
Like,
New York too.
Yeah.
New York. Me and Rube, we were smoking. My cameraman behind the scenes that I'm pointing out over here.
Shout out Rube.
Shout out Rube, man. We were smoking on the way, and Turkey Bag Tom, man, on the way back from the 420 trip.
Shout out Turkey Bag Tom as well.
Just chiefing in the cab. It was great.
Yeah,
man.
I've heard of more of that lately too.
It's great, bro. That was the first one that let me. All the other ones fronted on me, but he wanted that ride, man. He wanted that ride. That's tight, man. So I know we kind of touched on it, your first time smoking, but we didn't get into the story. How was it? What happened? How'd it go down? And were your parents cool with it?
They didn't know.
Okay.
I was with some friends growing up, the older brothers. I never smoked anything, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, we got a pipe and we put the weed in the pipe, and then we lit it with a lighter, and then we couldn't figure it out. We were with some friends, older brothers, and they kind of showed me how to do it. And these guys eventually, I'd go to high school, mm-hmm. and they would, I'd see them growing up, and I think I threw up.
Oh man, you poor guy.
Like a little bit, when I took the first hit, but in front of all these older brothers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I remember I kind of got, a little bit high, kind of felt a little dazed, but I didn't really inhale it properly. Sure. I think the second time though, they say your first time you don't get high.
Yeah, same with me.
I got a little bit high, but I wasn't I didn't really feel it. When I figured out how to actually take in the smoke it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like that's why people don't get high the first time, bro. We don't know how to fucking inhale it.
Especially if you haven't been smoking. I mean, it's one thing if you've been smoking cigarettes your whole life, or I hadn't.
Yeah.
But the first couple times I would get high, wow, munchies, crazy. Go to movies, just everything was great.
And it was the 90s, bro. Everything was so awesome.
Just
no shortage of cool shit happening.
No, good time to be alive.
Yeah, definitely.
Blessed to be around in the 90s.
Super blessed. So speaking of alive, if you could smoke with one person that's dead and one person that's still alive, who would it be?
That's a great question. Smoke with someone dead. Bob Marley, dead.
Fire. Bob's probably leading the pack with that answer.
Yeah.
Or Snoop. It's like Bob and Snoop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Bob. So Bob for the dead.
Yep.
For alive, who would I want to smoke with? For alive, it's a great question. I don't know. Probably. I've never smoked with Snoop, so it'd be dope to smoke with Snoop.
That's it. Yeah, those are the two. Those are the two.
Just because,
those are definitely the
nostalgia.
Yeah, man. Uncle Snoop, bro. I want to get Snoop on the show so bad, bro.
Willie Nelson, that would be a trip to be with.
Willie's come up. Yeah.
He's not, respect that guy. He's
definitely, man.
He comes from a part of the country that
where's
not
he from?
okay.
What
I
state?
think it's from Texas.
Okay.
So, definitely from the South.
Yeah.
And it's a good question. I hope I didn't fuck that up. But
no, you're good, bro. Fucking Snoop Dogg and Bob Marley, bro. You are all good. You're A-okay, my friend.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be hop on the comments yo, why'd he pick them? You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't fuck up where Willie Nelson was from.
Oh, that part. That was in my high ass.
Yeah.
No, you're good, bro. No, Willie Nelson. We'll get him on the show. Get him
while he's here.
Right, man. Shit, bro. Well, I'm curious, who your favorite plug was from back in the day, bro. You don't have to say his real name. But who took care of you back in the day, bro?
We used to have it. Well, he's still around. A buddy,
Hell
Sean.
yeah. Sean?
Yeah,
Shout out
buddy
Sean.
Sean. He's still around. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
NorCal, Santa Rosa area, and I think it was like 2 years ago at one of the like Hall of Flowers or something like that. We rekindled.
Nice, bro.
And he still has the cut of the sour.
He does?
He still has the cut of the
What's
OG.
up?
Yeah.
You trying to give it up?
I don't think
Or
he was
no?
willing to give it up, but
Okay.
he grows it.
That's exciting. Well, let me know.
I will, of course.
Please.
Like a really good one. I was with.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, no, it's
You know?
it's a good one.
I trust that you know.
Yeah, it's the real one. So he came around. He's still working, still growing.
Nice.
Great dude. Like literally, I've known the guy for almost like 20 years. You know,
Fire.
still doing it. So,
Hell yeah.
he's probably been the ultimate long-term
Nice,
plug.
bro. Well, on June 16th, get him something nice. That's plug day.
Let's plug there.
Plug day, yeah.
Okay.
You just missed it, so
Noted.
you're good this year.
Next year.
Next year, hook him up. Shout out to my homie Joey Pesha, my boy Chop, my boy Dan. They got me plug day gifts this year. Dan got me a fucking good pizza jersey. It's like in Italian colors. Got my logo on the sleeve. It's crazy.
Dope.
And Joey got me a shirt. It says "Eat your veggies" and it's a tree with like slices all over it. It's dope. You know
What's
what I'm
your
saying?
What's your favorite pizza place here?
Oh, favorite pizza place? In Sac, I'll probably go with Pizza Supreme Being, Giovanni's, or Anonimo. I just found a new spot in Fairfield. I'm fucking with it, bro. Vincini's.
Vincini's.
Vincini's. You hop right off the highway, grab a slice, get right back on. And then in San Francisco, you got Tony's.
Tony's. Yeah,
Tony's Napolitano.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire, bro.
Yeah.
How about you? You can tell me a good pizza joint?
No.
No? Okay, that's fair.
Giovanni's. And
Okay.
Not like I heard the guy died.
Yeah, man. RP, man.
I was wondering if it's still like.
It's still going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still going, man. What's the best advice and the worst advice somebody ever gave you?
Worst advice is like basically like all the spreadsheet advice, right? Like you need a spreadsheets, right? You need to but you can't build a whole business off of a spreadsheet and expect it to, especially in cannabis, to.
Yeah.
So a lot of the spreadsheet talk that we used to do, definitely not, and the inflation of numbers and the not realistic, and so how a lot of these people got money to do a lot of things and why things are crumbling and a lot of this shit too, because a lot of it was pumped, inflated.
Fugazi.
Fugazi. A lot of people that got in it that weren't necessarily supposed to be in it, but they were, convincing and whatnot. And then the best would be just like from my family, just like to just put my head down and if I have passion and I love and I'm doing well, to just do it and stay motivated and supporting me and with the crazy hours and the crazy schedules and whatnot. So I get a lot of good advice from my uncle who did the chocolate.
Chocolatier?
Yeah.
Nice. Shout out to him, man.
Shout out to him, Joseph Schmidt. Then my father and my mother, my sister, everyone, my wife, they're all very supportive.
That's beautiful, man. You're a lucky man. You're a blessed man.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Very
That's good pizza, my friend.
The best pizza.
Damn right.
Crispiest crust and
you feel me? Just right.
folds.
You know what I mean?
Perfect.
That nice fold. You
Yeah.
feel me? Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out one of your mentors that made a big impact on your life, bro. Going with Unc?
Definitely my father, my mother, my uncle, for sure. A lot of the OGs, there was some OGs that were in the game a long time ago, like I mentioned Mila, Bubble Man. There was guys like Soma. There was who else was there? Adam Dunn, who was TH Seeds and hemp hoodlam. He used to do. They created a lot of strains, like breeding wise, and then we're in Amsterdam. A lot of the early guys that went to Amsterdam, Neville, like who was a breeder, that created a lot of the strains, or was like responsible for a lot of the strains. Arjan, Arjan. That's basically head of greenhouse and Yoa. Like those guys, I'm lucky to have became friends with them.
Legends,
recently,
bro.
but like I used to spend so much time
That's
not
so
knowing
dope,
them
bro.
in Holland and watching all the strain hunter stuff, all that stuff, and then really becoming closer to them lately, and respect everything they're doing in Thailand and whatnot. Big Burn is great,
Hell yeah.
So, he's a younger guy, but everything that he's done, and I've known him since he was younger. Yeah, it's.
How long do you and Burn go back?
I think since like 2000. 2000.
No doubt.
Yeah, so 2001 maybe. So
that's tight.
Over 20 years.
You've seen a lot, my friend.
Been around.
Been around the bush.
Been
around the block, my man.
Yeah.
Been around the bush.
So I don't see myself going into any other industry.
Yeah, for what?
Love food, love travel. Would love to blend food and travel and cannabis, and like how they all blend with music and the arts and whatnot, and kind of do something cool, maybe something on TV.
You're on something, my friend.
Whatnot, but
everything's possible.
We're just having fun. Yeah, everything's possible.
Everything's possible, bro. I love that, man. So, if you could go back to the young you before you jumped in the game, what would you tell young Josh?
What would I tell young Josh? Save your money.
That's a good one, my friend.
Save your money.
Hell yeah.
Don't spend money foolishly. Like, think about, the consequences of doing certain things. Plan for a rainy day.
Yeah.
All that stuff, because, people go up and down, but it's nice to be stable. I think that a lot of, people are really getting into being showy and, living beyond their measures and whatnot. I used to when I lived in LA, you'd see a lot of people with nice cars and then live in a really horrible place or live with multiple, so it's like, really, value yourself. Like make sure you don't live beyond your living, whatnot, your style of living, and save your money. Don't party too hard. Don't do hard drugs.
That's more good advice. That will get you through your 20s really well. If I told myself that, I would have fucking
harm reduction, right? Harm reduction, moderation.
Yeah. Preventive maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Word, bro. Well, you killed it, brother. You killed it. It's been great chatting with you. Before we get up out of here, we're gonna do a little rapid fire questions. So these are 1-word answers. Okay, try to keep them 1 word, and then we'll wrap up and get up out of here. So, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the smoke in the hot or the cold?
Cold.
LED or HPS?
LED.
Living soil or cocoa?
Living soil.
Joints or blunts?
Joints.
Bongs or bowls?
Bongs.
Cold start or hot start?
Hot start.
Rig or Puffco?
I'm a torch guy at home. I rig. And I bet Puffco close second.
Cold cure or fresh press?
Cold cure.
Street smarts or book smarts?
Street smarts.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Haze or sour?
Sorry, sour.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah.
I love them both, bro.
Yeah.
I love them both. No right or wrong answer for me.
Love sour.
Nas or Jay-Z?
Nas.
GTA or Call of Duty?
I never got into either.
Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat.
Regular doinks or hash holes?
Hash holes.
Past that, or I'm smoking this to the face?
If possible, smoking it to the face.
Bike or skateboard?
Bike.
Your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo.
80s or 90s?
80s.
Sac or the Bay?
The Bay.
Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Pineapples or pizza with pineapples or no pineapples?
No pineapples.
Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
Beach or snow?
Beach.
In-N-Out or Five Guys?
In-N-Out.
Cheetos or Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Cheetos.
The Wire or The Sopranos?
Sopranos.
My God. Pacino or De Niro?
De Niro.
Godfather 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Automatic or revolver?
Automatic.
Smoke disty carts or last year's outdoor for 1 month?
Fuck.
They're just gonna get pretty bad from here on out, bro.
Last year's outdoor. Last year's outdoor.
Damn, he picked the outdoor. I feel it, bro.
No, yeah.
No, I ain't mad at the no
it
right
depends
on
what
answer.
the disty's mixed with, right? If it's
Yeah.
with some good HDE, probably the disty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cool. Lost in the woods. You get a pack of matches or a hatchet. What you want?
Hatchet. Wait, hold on. Probably matches because I need to cook whatever I kill. So I need the matches to start the fire, and I can find another way to kill some if I need to eat like an animal. So probably the matches.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
You get chased by a bear or a shark. Which one?
I just watched Cocaine Bear on the airplane. That shit was so dumb and crazy.
Oh, I can't wait to see that, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. A bear or a shark? Fuck. Probably a shark.
Body
Then I'd
shot?
only lose a leg or like an arm maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still horrifying,
Yeah.
but we'll go with shark, folks. Body shot or face shot by Mike Tyson?
Body shot.
Body shot. Shot a 151 or a hot dab? Hot
Hot
like
dab.
900.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, it's gonna murder you.
Bacardi.
Okay. Dirt bike or four wheeler?
Probably a 4-wheeler.
Gelato Runs Terps or OG Gas?
OG Gas.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Wu-Tang or Death Row?
That's a tough one. I grew up with Death Row.
Death Row, all right. Good shit, bro. Hell yeah, man.
West Coast, gotta keep
West
it real.
West. You know it. You know
I
it.
love lots of respect for the East Coast, but I'm a Niners fan, a
Yeah.
Giants fan, a
Hey,
Warriors fan.
It's your
Keep
truth,
it,
brother.
keep it local.
It's your truth. Bro, I got West Coast dudes that'll say Wu-Tang. I got East Coast dudes that'll say Death Row. You know, so you never know. You know what I'm saying? It's your truth. So before we get up out of here, man, let's just share with, I like to share the power of networking. How did we meet? And who do you know that I should get on the show? So how did we meet? Did we just
I feel like I met
network
you
our
out
way organically?
maybe around somewhere
At the
in
11
Sacramento, maybe 11-11
Club? Yeah. Shout out to the homies at the 11-11 Club. Great place for networking and chilling.
Yeah, of course.
Vibing.
And who you should possibly have on here. Big Burn speaks well. Obviously, Cause,
Definitely.
I've told you already, and Frank from Dub's Garden.
Dubs, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to get him on the show as well.
Who else? Champelli.
Pelly, yeah, me and Pelly, we've rescheduled a couple times. We're gonna nail it this summer, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's flaky.
He's
Shout out.
he be moving and shaking, man.
No,
I
he's
get
not
it.
flaky. He's all over.
He's all over
busy,
the place, man. He's
busy
doing what
man.
he's supposed to be doing.
Gas House Felix would be great. Gumbo Luca.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to get him on the show, man, for sure. Those are all solid picks. What can we do? What can I do for you? How can I reach in my network and help you guys? Anything would you like to plug before we get up out of here?
Nothing specific. Like I think that just keep going and keep in touch and anytime, you know, I do something, you're invited. Just
absolutely, bro.
You know,
Absolutely.
be a part of it.
That,
it's all I operate like a friend network. I mean, like just big. You know, I try to expand, and I like when people say they met each other through something that I held or did or whatnot. Yeah. So
it's a beautiful thing.
That's what it's all about. So
absolutely.
Just trying to create. You know, I think just creating I want to do some events out here too. Gonna do something in LA. Nice, just be a part of just.
Let me know, man. Let me know what I can do to support, man.
Of course.
Or, you know,
keep doing what you're doing too.
You know what I mean? Hell yeah. Right on, brother. Well, shit, man. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you spending your time with us, man. Thank you.
For sure. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, man. We got Josh in the building. Shout out to Natura. Everybody down Natura, Leo, and all the homies. We'll see you guys next time, man. Peace, love, good pizza. We up out of here.